Welcome to Wordiphile. In this episode, we explore the Banquet of Words, words from the kitchen and the table, whose origins reveal ancient trade routes and poisoned arrows, philosophers' gardens and Roman soldiers, the very texture of how we came to name our pleasures. Word 1. Companion, from the late Latin companionum, literally meaning breadfellow or messmate. The word combines com meaning with panis meaning bread. In the 6th century Frankish legal code, a companion was someone with whom you broke bread, shared your table, and trusted with your meal. The same Latin panis gave us pantry, the room where bread was stored. Every time we speak of companions, we invoke the ancient truth that sharing food creates bonds deeper than mere acquaintance. It means a person who accompanies another, one who shares meals and experiences after weeks on the trail together. Sharing cold rations and campfire coffee, they had become true companions in the oldest sense. Use companion when you want to emphasize the depth of a relationship, someone who shares not just time but sustenance. The word carries more weight than friend, suggesting intimacy forged through shared experience. Word 2. Salary, from the Latin salarium, originally a money allowance given to Roman soldiers. The word derives from sal, meaning salt, though historians debate whether soldiers were ever literally paid in salt or merely given money to purchase it. Salt was precious in the ancient world, essential for preserving food before refrigeration. Whether the connection was direct payment or metaphorical value, the link between salt and worth persists in phrases like worth your salt. Every paycheck echoes the time when a crystal mined from the earth was treasure enough to pay an army. It means fixed regular payment for work, typically paid monthly. The company offered a generous salary, but she wondered if any amount of money could compensate for the long hours. Use salary in formal contexts for regular compensation. The word carries more dignity than wage and suggests professional employment. Knowing its salty origins adds flavor to discussions of fair pay. Word 3. Epicurean, from the Greek philosopher Epicurus, who founded a school in Athens around 307 BCE teaching that pleasure was the highest good. But Epicurus did not mean feasting and excess. His pleasure was the absence of pain and fear, achieved through simple living, friendship, and philosophical contemplation. His followers lived on bread, water, and occasional cheese. Centuries of misunderstanding transformed the philosopher of modest contentment into the patron saint of luxury dining. An Epicurean today seeks refined pleasures that Epicurus himself would have found excessive. It means devoted to sensual pleasures, especially fine food and drink, a person with refined taste in food and wine. The restaurant attracted an Epicurean clientele who appreciated the chef's obsessive attention to sourcing the finest ingredients. Use Epicurean when describing sophisticated appreciation for fine food and drink. The word suggests discernment rather than mere gluttony, someone who seeks quality over quantity. Its philosophical irony adds depth for those who know the backstory. Word 4. Savory, from the Latin sapere, a verb meaning both to taste and to be wise. The Romans understood that tasting something was a way of knowing it, that discernment of flavor and discernment of truth shared a common root. From sapere came sapiens, as in Homo sapiens, the wise human who tastes the world and understands it. The same root gave us sapient and savvy. When we describe food as savory, we unconsciously honor the ancient connection between the palate and the mind, between tasting deeply and knowing truly. It means having a salty or spicy quality without sweetness. Pleasantly pungent, she preferred savory breakfasts to sweet ones, reaching for eggs and herbs rather than pancakes and syrup. Use savory to contrast with sweet, describing foods that satisfy with salt and umami rather than sugar. The word also works figuratively for experiences that are substantial and satisfying rather than cloying. Word 5. Voracious, from the Latin vorax, meaning ravenous or insatiable, derived from vorar, meaning to devour or swallow greedily. The same root gives us devour and all the minus ivorous words that describe what creatures eat: carnivorous for meat eaters, herbivorous for plant eaters, omnivorous for those who consume everything. The Proto-Indo-European ancestor gora meant food or devouring, connecting to Sanskrit words for drinking and Slavic words for swallowing. A voracious appetite reaches back to the primal hunger that drives all living things. It means wanting or devouring great quantities of food. Having a very eager approach to an activity, he was a voracious reader, consuming 3 novels a week and still hungry for more. Use voracious for appetites that seem insatiable, whether for food or knowledge or experience. The word suggests intensity bordering on excess, an eagerness that cannot be easily satisfied. Word 6. Banquet. From the Old Italian banchetto, a diminutive of banco meaning bench. The word originally described a snack eaten on a small bench rather than at a proper table, a modest bite between meals. As it passed through French and into English, the meaning inflated dramatically. What began as a light repast on a bench became a grand feast at long tables. In Tudor England, a banquet was specifically the sweet course served after dinner, often in a special banqueting house. A word for humble seating became synonymous with opulent dining. It means an elaborate and formal meal for many people, often followed by speeches. The wedding banquet featured 7 courses, and by midnight the guests were still raising glasses and toast. Use banquet for formal celebratory meals with many guests. The word implies ceremony and abundance, occasions where food is performance as much as nourishment. Its humble origin makes lavish banquets deliciously ironic. Word 7. Restaurant, from the French restaureur, meaning to restore or refresh. The earliest establishments called restaurants in 18th century Paris were not the dining rooms we know today, but cellars of bouillon, a restorative meat broth believed to strengthen the weak and revive the weary. The Latin ancestor restaureur meant to restore to a former state. In 1765, a Parisian soup vendor named Boulanger hung a sign quoting scripture in Latin: "Come to me, all who labor with the stomach, and I will restore you." A place of healing became a place of pleasure, but every restaurant still promises restoration. It means a place where meals are prepared and served to customers. The restaurant had no sign, no menu on the door, just a reputation that brought diners from across the city. Use restaurant for any establishment serving prepared food to the public. Knowing its restorative origins enriches the experience of dining out, reminding us that good food has always been considered medicine for the soul. Word 8. Carnival. From the medieval Latin carnalivar, meaning to remove meat, combining caro meaning flesh and levar meaning to raise or take away. The word names the festival that precedes Lent, the 40 days of fasting when medieval Christians abstained from meat. Carnival was the last chance to feast before the fast, to consume the stores of meat and fat that would otherwise spoil during weeks of abstinence. The popular etymology Carnival, meaning farewell to meat, is romantic but false. Still, both interpretations capture the spirit, a final indulgence before denial. It means a period of public festivity with processions, music, and dancing, a traveling funfair or circus. The carnival transformed the quiet town for 1 week each year, filling the streets with masked revelers and the smell of roasting meat. Use carnival for festive celebrations that involve excess and masquerade. The word carries echoes of medieval feasting, the permission to indulge before a period of restraint. It suits occasions of deliberate abandon. Word 9. Recipe. From the Latin recipe, the imperative form of reciper meaning to take or receive. The word was the first word written at the top of a medical prescription, a command from physician to pharmacist. Take these ingredients. The abbreviation of this command became the RX symbol still used by pharmacies today. Only in the 18th century did recipe migrate from the apothecary to the kitchen. From healing potions to dinner preparations, every recipe still begins with an implicit command: take these ingredients and combine them, just as doctors once ordered. It means a set of instructions for preparing a particular dish, a method for achieving something. Her grandmother's recipe for apple pie was less a precise formula than a set of suggestions open to interpretation. Use recipe for any set of instructions combining ingredients or elements. The word works literally for cooking and figuratively for any formula for success. Its medicinal origin reminds us that food and healing were once the same art. Word 10. Intoxicate. From the medieval Latin intoxicare, meaning to poison, derived from toxicum, meaning poison. But toxicum itself comes from the Greek toxikon, meaning poison for arrows, from toxin, meaning bow. The Greeks smeared their arrowheads with poison, and the word for that poison eventually came to describe any substance that altered the mind. In the 16th century, intoxicate shifted from deadly poison to the pleasurable poison of alcohol. What once meant death by arrow came to mean the spinning room after too much wine. The trajectory from battlefield to banquet hall preserved only the disorientation. It means to make drunk, to excite or exhilarate to a point beyond self-control. The success of her first novel intoxicated her with possibilities she had never dared to imagine. Use intoxicate for states of excitement or inebriation that overwhelm normal judgment. The word works for alcohol, but also for any overwhelming stimulus, love or victory or beauty. Its poisoned arrow origin adds a note of danger to every pleasure. Thank you for spending this time with Wordiphile. May your vocabulary be always savory, your appetite for words voracious, and may you find the perfect term to describe every flavor life offers.